Before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know about my Discord server. Check out the link in the description to talk college basketball, March Madness, live games with tons of other college basketball fans just like you. Sup guys, it's Alex here and welcome to the 2023 Big 12 Tournament Predictions video. We are finally here in the major conference tournament season, if you want to call it that. We had the final week of the regular season last night, their final night last night. We still have Big Ten action happening today. But in the major conferences such as the SEC, Big 12, ACC, Pac-12, all that stuff, we have finally hit the postseason where it's make or break time. We are here for this Big 12 tournament, and I'm just so excited. I'm very interested to see what happens here in this conference tournament. This has been the best conference, bar none, in college basketball this year. I mean, we have 10 teams here in the tournament. We probably have 8 teams that are pretty much a guarantee. Actually, let's go with 7 teams that are pretty much a guarantee to be in the tournament. We'll kind of go through each team here before we get into the predictions, kind of talk about their season. So at first, we have Kansas. Kansas has the most quad 1 wins in the entire nation. They look like a lock to be the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament until they lost to Texas last night by 16. That was just a crazy loss that has happened. I think Kansas had won like 5 or 6 in a row, and then they just went and lost by double digits at Texas, which isn't a bad loss at all, but just a loss that you're like, wow, that was kind of interesting. So then we'll see what happens there. But Kansas, obviously, bar none, they're one of the best teams in the nation. Then we have Texas here, a team that is on the brink of kind of like competing for a national championship. I don't really know if this team is that type of elite at this point, but they're the 2nd seed in a very competitive Big 12 this year. Props go out to them as well, especially fighting through the adversity they had to this year with Chris Beard having his kind of issue and then having an interim coach. Very impressive season that Texas has put together here. Then we have 3 seed Kansas State, the surprise of the Big 12 this season, with transfer Keontae Johnson from Florida leading the charge. This team, in a lot of preseason predictions, was picked to finish last in this conference, and as you see, they are the 3 seed, and even in the NCAA tournament itself, they are being projected in some places as a 2 seed, some as a 3 seed. Just absolutely incredible performance from this team this season. Great coaching work too by, I can't remember what their new coach's name is, but they used to have Bruce Weber. He got fired over the course of the season, and now they have a new first-year coach. It's one of my favorite teams to watch in college basketball, Kansas State this season. Then we have 4 seed Baylor, national champions from a couple of years ago. This team is back with a vengeance. They're a team that I feel like I believe in more than I should at this point. You know, they're the 4 seed in the tournament. They're probably going to end up being a 3 seed in the actual NCAA tournament, depending on what happens here in this conference tournament. But a team that is experienced, a team that has a fantastic player in Keontae George to lead the charge, a team with great coaching by Scott Drew. They could make some noise. Then we have 5 seed Iowa State, a team that I don't really honestly know what to think of, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. This was a team that a lot earlier in the season was on their way to a 2 seed. I think they were a 2 seed in the bracketology at one point, but now I think they lost like 5 out of 7 or 5 out of 8 games over the course of February into early March. Just a team that has been inconsistent as of late, but a team that a lot of people believe into, the Cyclones. Then we have 6 seed TCU. TCU has been getting some surprising victories over the course of the season. Honestly, a team that I wasn't really thinking about before the season as a potential contender, but they're a team that has proven that, like, night in and night out, they are going to compete. They find themselves as a 6 seed here in the bracket, or in the Big 12 bracket, but I think in bracketology they're being shown as probably like a 5 or a 6 seed as well. They can make some noise, absolutely. But then we kind of get to the region, or to the section here once we move into that first round picture. This is the kind of point to where we don't know what's going to happen with these teams come Selection Sunday. 7 seed Oklahoma State was playing their way perfectly into the tournament once you got to about February 15th or so. They have been might have been playing the best basketball in the nation for about a month stretch from like mid-January on through mid-February, but then they just absolutely collapsed. Their defense was not good at all. from that point on, and Oklahoma State had fallen from being shown as like a 9 seed, 8 seed some places, to now I believe that they are either in the next 4-out list or in the first 4-out list. So they find themselves on the edge of the tournament picture right now. They need to probably beat Texas here to make their way into the tournament. We'll see what happens. And we have 8 seed West Virginia. This team I feel like is a pretty much lock to be in the NCAA tournament. They're on the bubble, but I feel like they're pretty safe unless there's just a ton of vid thieves in college basketball this year. Then we have 9 seed Texas Tech, a team that's trying to play their way into the tournament. It's a team that nobody was really thinking about up until maybe mid-February, and then they've been trying to turn it on as of late too. We'll see what happens with Texas Tech in this tournament, but I'm very interested to see what happens come Selection Sunday for them, kind of where they'll be slotted. And then you have 10 seed Oklahoma, who is being shown in the tournament picture. They just got a huge upset victory. I can't remember who it was over. I mean, they beat Alabama by 24 earlier in the season. This could be a team that could surprise some people and make a run, the Fighting Porter Mosers there. But now, 6 minutes into the video, we actually got to make our predictions. I was trying to stall a little bit for time just because I know there's not a whole lot of teams to talk about, but I like to talk about teams. I like to kind of go through their season, kind of see how it ended up shaking out and see where they're positioned here heading into the conference tournament. But now it's time to make actual predictions for this Big 12 tournament. Very excited to see what happens in real life once we kind of get all the brackets and see how it all shakes out. But up first, we'll go with these first round matchups. West Virginia, Texas Tech. I believe Texas Tech will win that matchup there. They need that victory. They absolutely have to have it. I mean, West Virginia is obviously going to play as well. Bob Huggins doesn't let his team have nights off. But I think Texas Tech, they know they are playing for their season right now, and I think that they have the goods to be able to get that victory. Then we have Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma, rivalry matchup here for a spot in the quarterfinal round. I am going to go with Oklahoma State winning that one. I don't think Oklahoma is going to be able to beat Oklahoma State there. And Oklahoma State, kind of like Texas Tech, at the point to where they have to win these games if they want to make the NCAA tournament. So up first, in the quarterfinal round, we have Kansas versus Texas Tech. As much as I want to pick Texas Tech to pull off the upset there, I just can't do it. We have Kansas moving on there to the Big 12 semifinal round, beating Texas Tech, meaning Texas Tech will probably miss the NCAA tournament at this point. But then we have Baylor versus Iowa State. If you had asked me Friday who I thought was going to win that game, I'd say Baylor easy. But then yesterday we had Iowa State go on the road to Baylor and beat them, I believe, by double digits. It was a hugely surprising victory there. Was not expecting it at all, but I am going to go with the opposite result here and go with Baylor beating Iowa State. I just think the better team's going to win that matchup there with Baylor advancing on. So then we have Kansas State versus TCU. I am going to pick Kansas State to advance there. TCU will be fine when it comes to the NCAA tournament, but I just believe that Kansas State is the better team right there. So up next, we have Texas versus Oklahoma State, and this is where I'm just absolutely torn. Texas, obviously, they just beat Kansas, the best team in the Big 12 conference, by double digits yesterday. But I feel you got to have an upset somewhere in these conference tournaments, and I feel that this is the place to do it. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. I got them winning this matchup there, advancing on. That will probably be the victory there that can land them in the NCAA tournament, but of course they'd want to win more in the semifinal round. Texas is a team that, I believe that they can win the Big 12 tournament. I believe any of these, I don't even know what I believe at this point, but I feel so bad for not picking Texas there. I believe in that team a lot with Marcus Carr. I think that they can make some noise in the NCAA tournament as well, but I got Oklahoma State advancing on there. So now for a spot in the Big 12 finals, we are going to have Kansas here moving on and beating Baylor for a spot in the Big 12 finals, where they will face Kansas State, the Wildcats, advancing on there, beating Oklahoma State, and getting a spot in the finals, which sets up rivalry matchup here, Kansas versus Kansas State. These two teams split the season series, Kansas getting a victory, Kansas State getting a victory, but I'm going to go with Kansas State winning it all. I guess I should probably move it down here. I got Kansas State winning the Big 12 tournament. I think that they can string together some runs here with Norwell, Keontae Johnson leading the charge. I believe a lot in that team. I got Kansas State, the 3 seed, pulling off that huge victory, and it's going to be a victory that Kansas State fans talk about for a long time to come, and you know what I mean. about that. We got Kansas State here, beating Kansas, winning the Big 12 tournament. That's what I have for my predictions here. Had some upsets there. We'll see what happens once the actual tournament rolls around. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your own reactions and predictions for the tournament in the comment section below. Always love to see what people hear, or what they predict, and react to my predictions and all that stuff. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all later.